They were a late 70s band that some say were destined for greatness, considering their lead singer was Chris Thompson, formerly of the Manfred Mann's Earth Band, who sang Blinded by the Light and a lot of other songs for the band, but most notably that Bruce Springsteen cover. I bought the album. It was from the band Night. Chris Thompson shared some of the vocals on that band. I loved it, but for whatever reason, it didn't take off. We talk about Night with Chris Thompson on Rocky Street Music.
Did you leave Manfred Mann to do Night?
Yeah, I guess I did. It wasn't to do Night because I didn't know what I was going to do. I don't know. I just wanted to do something on my own, which ended up by being Night. Yeah, that was a very unsuccessful record, really. I mean, I know we had a top 40 hit with Hot Summer Night, but yeah, there was a lot of it around that. Working with Richard was very difficult. And
everyone's told me working with Richard is very difficult.
I actually like Richard. I really like Richard, and he was, I learned an awful lot from him. But you never know which person he was going to be when he came in through the door. He was going to be whatever,
Is that mad genius stuff to you? Sorry to interrupt you, but is that because David Henschel told me? He says to me that's just because he's worked with him a lot. Tapes, spliced tapes on his shoulders or whatever it is. I don't know. Is that mad genius stuff? You think?
Well, I never saw Richard with anything over his shoulder. Someone else would be carrying it for him. But yeah, he did have genius. I mean, when you listen to You're So Vain, you know that there's a genius made that. And the Pointer Sisters, he made some great records with the Pointers. And he tried, he heard us when we were kind of like a pub band, and we were doing covers. Stevie and I were singing, and we had some electricity there, but we didn't have the songs to make the record with. So, it was difficult because we had one song with her singing, one song with me singing, and people couldn't, join it together and say this is what they were. And we never found the magic song that we used to do together. We used to do Fire Down Below, which was magic for us, but Bob Seger already recorded it. So, there's nothing much we could do about that.
Hot Summer Night I remember a hit in Canada, got a lot of airplay.
Yeah, it did. And Richard turned down Doctor Doctor, unfortunately, because things would have been different if he hadn't turned that down. But
is that right? Is that right? I didn't know.
Yeah, we were offered Doctor Doctor first, and Richard didn't rate it.
You were going to sing that, though. You would have sung that for sure.
The two of us were going to sing it, and that's what we were looking for. And we tried to convince Richard, but you can't convince Richard. He does what he wants to do.
With Stevie singing, I remember going, I loved you. I loved her voice, and I had no problem with her. But you just said it. There was just something, there was a disconnect for me, even because I loved you as a singer so much. I wanted you to sing every song.
Okay. Well, thank you.
So there you go. By the way, if you remember me, 3.2 million hits on Spotify alone.
Yeah. That, I should have. Richard wanted to do an album of ballads with me in after If You Remember Me, Success. And I said no, because I felt a kind of I didn't feel like just dropping the band. I just, but in retrospect, I should have done that album because it would have been hugely successful in America. We would have found the songs, and I was in good voice at that point in time. So yeah, that's, I mean, if you want to talk about regrets, I think that's the only kind of musical regret I have, really, that I should have done that album with Richard. Mind you, he would have driven me crazy too. So who knows?
I agree, though. I agree. I got to a point with your career. I just got hungry for more stuff. I just wanted more stuff, because I remember my friends would go, I said, he should leave Manfred Mann and he should be Chris Thompson by himself. We'd have these little parties. We'd all talk around the big JBL speakers, right?
Well, I should have been, I guess.
No,
And in some ways I did. I mean, I went out, as I said, I've been playing with my Norwegian band for 21 years, and we were really great. And I'm in the process right now of mixing out one of our last shows, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes. So it's a lot of music to mix, and it's difficult. Live albums are just terrible to mix. I swore after Budapest that I would never do another live album, and here I am in the same situation, trying to make it sound like it did in my head.
You touched on something a while ago, and it's something that I've always, even though I've been in radio 40 years, I've been sort of an underachiever. Evening show, yeah, I'll do the evening show. People leave me alone. But I mention this for a reason. There's a part of me, like 10 years ago, I started going on YouTube, and YouTube paid for this house. I do really well on YouTube. I say that because I was under the radar a little bit in my career. I'm 63 now. There's a part of me going, well, I want to do good work, or I want to still, touching on what you said with Manfred, I still want to discover that what happened to me in the past makes me still hungry. And to me, you still sound like you're hungry.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've got some things. I mean, I work all the time, but I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Just wish I was in 76. I mean, it's fine. I feel fine and everything, but it's getting old. There's no good about it, really. It's it's demanding.
You know what? But do you want to be? I mean, I know that when Blinded came out, and that was a big break, and that was great, and you were a younger man. But people always ask me, and artists, we talk about this all the time, going, yeah, but I don't think I'd want to be the younger version of me when listening to that song, because I kind of like this a lot more now. The frontal lobe is fully formed. Don't you think?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree.
We'll have more from Chris Thompson in the next few days. And if you're a member of our Patreon, you'll get access to the entire interview in the next few days. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos on social media. We love it when you do that. We appreciate that. Join us every Friday for Friday Night Live. Sometimes we have guests. We always have a good topic. But if you want to support the channel, there are links in the description. You can join our Patreon as mentioned. You can make a donation, buy a t-shirt, spread the word. We'd appreciate that. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music.